foreman Kupuna hunter.
I've been in this career for 17 and a half years. Career is a lifeline. My career is a lifeline. That is available to us now instead of a few years ago, maybe 15 years ago. It wasn't so important to people to be a lifeguard. We were best known mostly as beach boys instead of lifeguards. But as time went on, the amount of drownings and the amount of tourism that was affected by drownings and water safety issues basically made it a career. So we're blessed. There were really a lot of fun times and really good times, and then there were a lot of very scary, hard times because there was no affording jet skis, there was no trucks, there was a rescue board, rescue tube, and fins. Sometimes you show up at the beach and the ground is shaking, the surf is so big, and you know, being only human, that there's only so much you can do against Mother Nature. So a lot of it was luck and a lot of it was blessings that got us through this. This was my first choice as a young man, but like I said earlier, there was no opportunities. It was very closed and close knit, and you couldn't really make a living at it. So the tourist industry has always been fun and profitable as well. When we were young, we were tour escorts, and we got to take people all over the islands, and it was really cool in the old days. Things have changed a lot. I surfed and swam and did the water sports as many as I could all my life. So it was a dream come true if I could be a lifeguard. But in Honolulu, when we were raised at Sandy Beach, Makapu, even in Waikiki, there were not very many lifeguards, so there wasn't an availability to become a professional in the field. And the pay wasn't, at what everybody would think a job should be. So I think everything turned very positive. Whenever we got to do canoeing, it took a lot more as far as to learn to swim the right way, to learn to do the proper techniques, to learn safety issues, safety techniques, and then to be able to help somebody else with those techniques. I would like to be in the waves all the time. And of course, sports. Sports was the other thing, football, basketball, all the sports that we could, we loved them. So as I got older, it was a conflict of surf or football, so I chose surf. We used to hang in Waikiki a lot. We used to be taken down there by our neighbors, so when they used to yell that they're going to the ocean, the entire neighborhood would jump in their station wagon. So that was where my first love as a child was. And we were always around the ocean because my father was a diver, and we would camp at probably Punaluu and Ka'ava on the northeast side of Oahu. It's gotten a lot more professional. It's gotten, not that the guys of before, they were true heroes because when they went out to rescue, for instance, Eddie Aikau, he paddled out on a surfboard in surf that's so huge that even jet skis now we have a hard time maneuvering in, and those are the heroes because there was no real safety equipment, no trucks, no radios, when you entered the water, nobody knew you entered the water except for the people watching on the beach, and half of the people on the beach aren't skilled enough to do or get in and help you because they will die too. So those were the true hero guys. Well, there are so many stories. I hope someday you guys can go around and check in with the other lifeguards because every tower and everywhere we are has its special. For instance, we have to give credit to the surfers, the boogie boarders, the body surfers, the brothers that are in the water at times when there is no lifeguard. So we don't do all the rescues. We are lucky enough to do the high profile ones that you know, because of the skis we can get to people. But the everyday rescues and many that go unnoticed are by the regular surfers, body surfers, boogie boarders, local people on the beach, fishermen. That we've had fishermen that have walked or ran almost a half a mile to our tower to let us know that people were out in the ocean, and we got to visualize them with the camera. I mean with the, excuse me, the binoculars. But if that old man never ran that half a mile, we would have never, you know, got the people. So there's a lot of unsung people. A lot of the people here on the islands have rescued and have gotten no real glory or any kind of thank you. So that's pretty much some good stories right there. Remember memorable rescues. A lot are assists. It's like a free ride back to shore. But most of the time we've had quite a few. The ones that are really hard are the 11 that I remember. Some of them deal with other things than the ocean, for instance the rivers, where a parent had taken her 2 children on the Wailua River during a monster rainstorm, which was pushing out the river probably about a quarter mile out to sea. And we got a call that children were getting washed out the river mouth. So we're usually in the old days sitting by ourselves. And right there, the fear in your heart, wondering, where did they come from? You know, how can they get washed out the river? And thinking, can I get there on time? And if I can spot them in amongst the debris and the ocean that is kicking up at the same time. One of the neatest incidents was when those 2 children were being washed out to sea. Somehow, some miracle had pushed them over right out of the harm's way and into a safe pond by the Heiau, which is, I've never ever seen anything so magical in my life, something that has saved, you know, the kids. Lack of knowledge, probably lack of people's knowledge for our oceans, you know. The people that live here are all very leery and warned, respect the water. But a lot of people that come here, our waters, as you can see, are so beautiful that it looks so inviting. You know that people jump in, it's like Disneyland. So, you know, next thing you know, they find out. One of the most important things I probably could keep on the beach that would be very powerful would be a globe, the Earth globe itself. If you had that globe, you could show the people, that we're just ink dots on this planet. So this island of Kauai is an ink dot. So when you see the massive Pacific Ocean moving, whether it's a really calm day or it's a really stormy day, the calm days are just as bad because we're a little rock, basically. So that would be a good tool to use, probably. I see myself as another person, and I enjoy my job. And people are, you know, you meet a lot of people on the job. You meet all kinds. People think, yeah, there's all kinds of chicks down at the beach, and you go meet girls and all this stuff. And granted, Waikiki, Ala Moana, places like that, you know, Honolulu, you know, that's what people foresee. But you know, you're on the beach every day. These are more family people, and everybody is all family on the beach, because when you get in the water, we're all equal. There's nobody. There's skilled people like you guys at school that are swimmers and ocean people, but most of these people are just family, trying to take their family back home, and not in a yellow bag, but in the airplane, alive, you know, going home with good memories. I'll have an interesting story to share with you. Back in 1980, the park was not as beautiful as it is today and as clean as it is, but a lot of the local brothers would come up here and check the surf, the spot called Crooked's out here. So we would sit in the cars and stare out at the ocean. And there was a group of native Hawaiians and there were probably 5 or 6 stocky men and an old woman in a white dress. And I was wondering to my friend, I said, what are they doing? Where are they headed to? And he couldn't understand because behind me are these islands of rock here. This island inside of here and the outer island are very exposed at low tide. On a day like today, you'll see it's very calm on the east side, so it still looks very dangerous and rough. They took the lady and they carried her through the high surf and the current, and they carried her and they took her out to the island out there. And they all turned around and came to shore. They left the little old Hawaiian lady there, and she had her hands raised to the sky, and we had noticed that she was praying. She reached down and threw some fish out into the ocean, out in that direction there, out into Wailua Bay. We didn't see what she was throwing the fish to or what the issue was, but it was wild because we know how rough it is in here, and the Hawaiian brothers that were with her, who'd been her sons, her grandsons, they made it a point to get her out to those rocks. Watching her, and they went back out into the ocean and left this channel in here, which is very calm today, but it's very dangerous those days. Well, this particular day we saw her. They went out, they picked her up, and they carried her through the rough surf back onto the rock and passed her hand into hand to each other, and they came up here and they took off, and we were with our jaws dropped like, oh my God, what was that? And my friend said she must be worshiping her Amakua, which was, we didn't know, but now we believe there was a shark. But we also saw her through a few more years. We would come here every so often, and we would be lucky enough probably to catch her, the family and her probably two times more probably. And years went by, 1995 or so. My partner Eugene Encheta was working over at Wailua, and I was working here on a really beautiful, one of our magical east side days that we don't get too many of, even glassier than this, where there's divers out and the ocean was just beautiful. On the coast out there came a military helicopter, one of the troop carriers, so they're really, really loud. And they were just doing a coastline cruise. They were probably about 200 feet, probably as high as a coconut tree, really low as far as we knew, or where it was amazing because the sound just knocked out everything. Nobody could even talk to each other. They hovered right out here, right over the blue spot in the deep water. And we were like, what's going on? I called my partner, he calls me back, nothing, we don't see anything. So we called each other again because the troop copter went out, came around and hovered again in here. And about 5 minutes later, the helicopter took off and they just shot out of here like a streak of light, you know, and they were gone. And we were like sitting there, what the heck was that? And we got a call from the fire department because they're not on our radio channel. They called and stated that they had just seen a 20-foot tiger sitting outside of our bay here. And to me, that after all those years, the story of the little lady came into play, and I said, oh my God, that's probably her Amakua. And we had to clear all the beaches, close all the beaches, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because not only was it insane watching the Hawaiians carry their grandma through the surf, through the rocks, but for the reason of honoring an ancient deity which is still alive today. Yeah. So also I believe that she watches over, I don't know if it's a she or he, but I believe the shark watches over because many people surf and swim here, and you know, I don't think that that's the issue. I think this is her or his area to watch over, and we're blessed actually to be here, and I just thought I'd share that with you guys because it's interesting to know the ancient along with the modern, and they've been here long before we were there, so we just honor them as well.